complete works of Swami Vivekananda, in that inspired talks we are seeing. Now let us continue. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Recorded by Miss S.E. Waldo, a disciple. Thursday, July 18, 1895. The lesson today was mainly Shankara's argument against the conclusion of the Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhyas say that consciousness is a compound, and beyond that, the last analysis gives us the Purusha, witness, but that there are many Purushas, each of us is one. Advaita, on the contrary, affirms that Purushas can be only one, that Purusha cannot be conscious, unconscious, or have any qualification, for either these qualities would bind or they would eventually cease. So, the one must be without any qualities, even knowledge, and it cannot be the cause of the universe or of anything. In the beginning, existence only, one without a second, says the Vedas. The presence of sattva with knowledge does not prove that sattva is the cause of knowledge. On the contrary, sattva calls out what was already existing in man, as the fire heats an iron ball placed near it by arousing the heat latent in it, not by entering into the ball. Shankara says knowledge is not a bondage because it is the nature of God. The world ever is, whether manifested or unmanifested, so an eternal object exists. Jnana, bala, kriya, knowledge, power, activity is God. Nor does he need form because the finite only needs form to interpose as an obstruction to catch and hold infinite knowledge. But God really needs no such help. There is no moving soul. There is only one Atman. Jiva, individual soul, is the conscious ruler of this body, in whom the five life principles pranas, pancha pranas, come into unity, and yet that very jiva is the Atman because all is Atman. What you think about it is your delusion and not in the jiva. You are God, and whatever else you may think is wrong, you must worship the self in Krishna, not Krishna as Krishna. Only by worshipping the self can freedom be won. Even personal God is but the self objectified. Intense search after my own reality is bhakti, says Shankara. Intense search after my own reality is bhakti. All the means we take to reach God are true. It's only like trying to find the pole star by locating it through the stars that are around it. The Bhagavad Gita is the best authority on Vedanta. Next we have Friday, July 19, 1895. So long as I say you, I have the right to speak of God protecting us. When I see another, I must take all the consequences and put in the third, the ideal, which stands between us. That is the apex of the triangle. The vapor becomes snow, then water, then Ganga. But when it is vapor, there is no Ganga, and when it is water, we think of no vapor in it. The idea of creation or change is inseparably connected with will. So long as we perceive this world in motion, we have to conceive will behind it. We have to conceive will behind it. Physics proves the utter delusion of the senses. Nothing really is as ever see, hear, feel, smell, taste, it. Certain vibrations producing certain results after our senses. We know only relative truth. The Sanskrit word for truth is isness, sat, is, isness, existence. From our present standpoint, this world appears to us as will and consciousness. Personal God is as much an entity for himself as we are for ourselves, and no more. God can also be seen as a form, just as we are seen. As men, we must have a God. As God, we need none. This is why Sri Ramakrishna constantly saw the Divine Mother ever present with him, more real than any other thing around him. But in Samadhi, all went but the self. Personal God comes nearer and nearer until he melts away, and there is no more personal God and no more I. All is merged in self. Consciousness is a bondage. The argument from design claims that intelligence precedes form. But if intelligence is the cause of anything, it itself is in its turn an effect. It is Maya. God creates us and we create God, and this is Maya. The circle is unbroken. Mind creates body, and body creates mind. The egg brings the chicken the egg. The tree the seed the tree. The world is neither entirely differentiated nor yet entirely homogeneous. Man is free and must rise above both sides. Both are right in their place, but to reach truth, isness, we must transcend all that we now know of existence, will, consciousness, doing, going, knowing. There is no real individuality of the jiva or separate soul. Eventually, it as a compound will go to the pieces. Only that which is beyond further analysis is simple, but that alone is truth, freedom, immortality, bliss. All struggles for the preservation of this elusive individuality are really vices. All struggles to lose this individuality are virtues, punyas. Vices means papas. Everything in the universe is trying to break down this individuality, either consciously or unconsciously. Everything in the universe. All morality is based upon the destruction of separateness or false individuality, because it is that is the cause of all sin. Morality exists first, later religion codifies it. Customs come first, and then mythology follows to explain them. While things are happening, they come by a higher law than reasoning that arises later in the attempt to understand them. Reasoning is not the motive power, it is chewing the cud afterwards. Reason is the historian of the actions of the human beings. Buddha was a great Vedantist, for Buddhism was really only an offshoot of Vedanta. And Shankara is often called a hidden Buddhist. Buddha made the analysis, Shankara made the synthesis out of it. Buddha never bowed down to anything, neither Veda, nor caste, nor priest, nor custom. He fearlessly reasoned so far as reason could take him. Such a fearless search for truth and such love for every living thing the world has never seen. Buddha was the Washington of the religious world. He conquered a throne only to give it to the world, as Washington did to the American people. He sought nothing for himself. Next, we have Saturday, July 20, 1895. Perception is our only real knowledge or religion. Talking about it for ages will never make us know our soul. There is no difference between theories and atheism. In fact, the atheist is the truer man. Every step I take in the light is mine forever. When you go to a country and see it, then it is yours. We have each to see for ourselves. Teachers can only bring the food. We must eat it to be nourished. Argument can never prove God, save as a logical conclusion. It is impossible to find God outside of ourselves. Our own souls contribute all the divinity that is outside of us. Our own souls contribute all the divinity that is outside of us. We are greatest temple. देहो देवालयः प्रोक्तो जीवो देवः सदा शिवः त्यजेदज्ञाननिर्माल्यं सोऽहं भावेन पूजयेत्. The body itself is a temple. It is said like that. Deho devalayah proktah. Jivo dev sadashivaha. The jiva himself is the God, Supreme God, Sadashiva. Tejed ajnana nirmalyam. You have to clear off all the ignorance. Soham bhavena pujayet. And worship in the uh, in such a view that God is me, myself. So we are the greatest temple. The objectification is only a faint imitation of what we see within ourselves. Concentration of the powers of the mind is our only instrument to help us to see God. If you know one soul, your own, you know all souls, past, present, and to come. The will concentrates the mind. Certain things excite and control this will, such as reason, love, devotion, breathing. The concentrated mind is a lamp that shows us every corner of the soul. No one method can suit all. No one method can suit all. These different methods are not steps necessary to be taken one after another. Ceremonials are the lowest form, next God external, and after that God internal. These different methods are not steps necessary to be taken one after another. In some cases, gradation may be needed, but in many, only one way is required. It would be the height of folly to say to everyone, you must pass through karma and bhakti before you can reach jnana. Stick to your reason until you reach something higher, and you will know it to be higher because it will not jar with reason. The stage beyond consciousness is inspiration, samadhi. But never mistake historical trances for the real thing. It's a terrible thing to claim this inspiration falsely, to mistake instinct for inspiration. There is no external test for inspiration. We know it ourselves. Our guardian against mistake is negative, the voice of reason. All religion is going beyond reason, but reason is the only guide to get there. Instinct is like ice, reason is the water, and inspiration is the subtlest form of or vapor. One follows the other. Everywhere is this eternal sequence: unconsciousness, consciousness, intelligence, matter, body, mind. And to us, it seems as if the chain began with the particular link we first lay hold of. Arguments on both sides are of equal weight and both are true. We must reach beyond both to where there is neither the one nor the other. These successions are all Maya. Religion is above reason, supernatural. Faith is not belief, It is the grasp on the ultimate and elimination. First hear, then reason and find out all that reason can give about the Atman. Let the flood of reason, however, flow over it. Then take what remains. If nothing remains, thank God you have escaped a superstition. When you have determined that nothing can take away the Atman, that it stands every test, hold fast to this and teach it to all. Truth cannot be partial. It is for the good of all. Finally, in perfect rest and peace, meditate upon it, concentrate your mind upon it, make yourself one with it. Then no speech is needed, silence will carry the truth. Do not spend your energy in talking, but meditate in silence. And do not let the rush of the outside world disturb you. Do not let the rush of the outside world disturb you. When your mind is in the highest state, you are unconscious of it. Accumulate power in silence and become a dynamo of spirituality. What can a beggar give? Only a king can give, and he only when he wants nothing himself. Hold your money merely as custodian for what is God's. Have no attachment for it. Let name and fame and money go. They are a terrible bondage. Feel the wonderful atmosphere of freedom. You are free, free, free. Oh, blessed am I. Freedom am I. I am the infinite. In my soul, I can find no beginning and no end. All is myself. All is myself. Say this unceasingly. So, here we stop. हरे राम सर्वे जना सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ओम तत्सत् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु स्वामी विवेकानन्दार्पितमस्तु